Morning, guys. Day number 22 of the Prep Diaries. We're getting through these, I like it. Day number 22. Trained already this morning. Trained legs this morning. Felt pretty good, I must admit. Like, numbers kind of creeping back up to as much as I can humanly move at the moment with the obviously the lack of equipment that I have available to me. And things are becoming a little bit monotonous in certain respects because I can't do too much variety. There's not, a lot I can really do with a set of dumbbells and a bench. But we plow on, we power through. But feeling good. Legs are a little bit jelly-like at the moment, so I'm going to walk them off. I've got Tesco shop to do now. Pick up kind of some essentials. I'm a little bit short on kind of things that will bulk meals up. I've got protein sources at home, but don't have things like potatoes at the moment, and I'm running out of broccoli and stuff. Just stuff. It's one of those stuff shops that I kind of hate, but have to get done. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to go for a walk because it is absolutely glorious. It's absolutely glorious out there. It's about 6 degrees, so it's chilly in the air, but it's glorious. So I'm going to go for a walk. Might even hit the forest, just get a little bit of change of scenery. I'm going to do some work, and it's Friday. I mean, I didn't even realise it was Friday. Days are just blending into each other at the moment. Like, it's the weekend, and I didn't even realise. So it might be fake away night tonight, so we'll see. But yeah, I'll speak to you a bit. Obviously my food done for the day. That was shopping done for the specific episode. Now I had filmed at the back end of that day, but I'm not quite feeling it. Doing all the editing, I'm not quite feeling it. And what I tried to do was explain maybe how you would go about potentially setting out your own regime, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But you don't need to do it into the extremities that I'm doing it. But I thought I would give you like my 3 top tips for anybody looking to get into shape, or just to make a real big change towards their health, their fitness, their physique. It doesn't necessarily matter what your goal is, but it does help you to have these 3 things in place. It covers a lot of bases. So number 1, and probably the most important thing, is to have a plan. And when I say have a plan, I mean know where you want to go, know how long it's going to take you to get there, and be realistic with that. Always look at like the SMART analogy. The SMART analogy, I'll put that up here. So that's the SMART analogy. Make sure that you cover all 5 of those, because a plan is great, but if it doesn't make any sense or it's not logical, it's not really a plan, it's more of a dream. When you've got a plan, you can reverse engineer that plan backwards. So let's just say for me, I know that in June, I want to photo shoot or compete. Now, that is, yes, someone say you don't actually know what you want, but I know that I want to do one of the two, and one will lead into the other. So let's just take the photo shoot to start with. I will then look at those photos and see if I'm ready for competition, and that'll be one into the other. If I'm not ready, we carry on and we move the prep back longer. So I have a goal, a target. It's reasonable. I've given myself plenty of time, and I can reverse engineer back to the 1st of January, so the first day I did these diaries. I can reverse engineer what I need to kind of drop per week, then it works out to per month, and I've backdated that. So in 6 months' time, I know the speed and the aggression I need to take to make it happen. So that's number one, have a plan. And that could be anything as well. That could also be, what am I going to eat nutritionally? And if you don't know, find somebody who does. And that doesn't mean to tell you what to eat. They don't need to give you a specific plan, but also just helps you understand your current preferences and how you're going to relay your own health and fitness when it comes to making dietary changes. You're going to have to eat in a certain way. You're going to have to learn how to track. You're going to have to learn about protein. You're going to have to learn lots of things that you might not already know, and then you have to apply. Equally with training. Have a plan, have a regime, have a set structure. Now that might be that you do that yourself. So you say to yourself, okay, how often can I train? 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. Brilliant. I'm going to then train Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm going to hit push, pull, leg split. Or, I'm going to do 3 full body days. But you've got that in mind. You're not just winging it based on how you feel on the day. The worst thing you could do is absolutely wing it. So have a plan for training, for health and fitness, for nutrition, for your actual goal, your actual target, and then how you're going to get there. Super important. So that's number one. Now, number two is have some accountability. Have some accountability to something or somebody. Now, if it's you, have something that you've got that you can mark down your results. You can mark down what you're eating. So MyFitnessPal is how I do it. But that is essentially my accountability. I'm definitely accountable to making sure my calories are on point. And equally, I'm then accountable to my coach. So I actually have a coach. And that coach, Gordon, my coach, Gordon, I'm accountable to him. I check in with him every week, if not twice a week. So again, there's somebody there to check my work. If I don't do the work, somebody's going to pull me up on it. So I'm much more motivated to do it. Equally, he knows how to do this process. He knows how to get there. So it's somebody as well. So be accountable to somebody that can hold you to a higher level. They can hold you to the ambition that you want to do, you want to deliver. So that doesn't always need to be a coach. Don't get me wrong. I am a coach myself, right? So when I talk to people on Instagram, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and they ask me my advice, I can give it to them professionally, and I charge them for that. That's my job. That's what I do for a living. But you don't always need a coach. Some people are very good at being accountable to themselves. So be accountable to yourself. Make sure if you say you're going to do something, you damn well deliver it. You do it for the right reasons at the right times. You deliver. And tell people about it. Tell people about it. That's the best way. If you told your best friend or your parents or whoever, do you know what? This summer, I'm going to drop 2 stone. I'm going to drop a stone. I'm going to drop 3 pounds. I'm going to do whatever. That could be with anything. That could be from cutting down on booze. That could be whatever you want. Tell somebody about it, because if you tell somebody about it and don't deliver, they're more likely going to ask you why you didn't do it. Oh, I thought you were cutting down on alcohol, and instantly that negatively reinforces it on you. There's psychology behind that as to whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it does make you think, well, I don't want to feel like that. I don't want somebody to judge, so I'm not going to do, so I'm not going to miss that mark. I'm going to do it, and then someone's going to sort of give me the gratification that it deserves, and it's going to make me feel great. So hold yourself accountable, be that with a coach or yourself. If you've got some level of support system in there, chances are you're going to do a much better job than you are, again, winging it. And the third most important one to me is be motivated, not by what you get, but by the process itself. So the classic here is that the motivation is twofold. If you're motivated by the end result, so let's just say this thing for me, in 6 months' time, I take the best photos I've taken in a while, but that is my only drive. But to do it, I have to eat awful food. I'm unhappy. I dread every training session. I'm ratty. My relationships suffer as a result. I don't see anybody. Chances are I'm not going to push for it. Yeah, that gratification at the end sometimes isn't enough motivation to drive you. So be motivated by the process. Be motivated by enjoying whatever you choose to train or however you choose to do it. So, you know, if you like weight training, go and weight train. If you like running, go and run. Nobody is saying there is a right and wrong way to do this. There are more efficient ways to do things. And you can go into that as much as you want to. Like for me, efficiency is super key. But make sure that you are motivated by what you're doing, not by what it brings you. Because it will help you get up in the morning. It will help you turn up to training sessions. It will help you, you know, make better decisions. You know, I always say as a classic sort of line, you know, nobody makes a good decision when they're unhappy. Well, you don't, you know, so make sure that you find it genuinely motivating. Don't put yourself through hell for nothing, because you'll get there and you'll bounce back when you turn it off. Find what works for you. And what works for me doesn't work for everybody. What works for you guys sometimes won't work for me. Find your way, find your path, and that is super, super key. So, look, my three tips to do anything like I'm doing aren't the gospel. They're not the gospel, but they're just things that I think are very important. And I genuinely think having a proper plan that you can remain consistent with, I think having some sort of accountability, and having something that you are motivated to do is super important, because there's a classic motivation, you know, is short-lived and dedication lasts. You can be dedicated to something you enjoy. It's a lot easier. So those three things are really, really important to me. So I just wanted to leave you with that today. It's a little bit longer of a talky segment than I normally do, but I think this is much better than what I originally had at the end of this video. So I'm going to sign off. I'm going to sign off now. That will be the end of day 22. I'm really happy with the progress that I'm making, even though today's weight was a lot higher. Obviously, I'm filming this a week in advance, so I know what my weight is on the 29th. But yeah, so I hope that helps some of you out there, and I'm going to do a lot more of this sort of stuff. Maybe not 8.5 minutes, but I am going to do a lot more of this sort of stuff. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the morning.